Thank you and good morning. We're going to get started now. Sorry for the delay. We continue to have discussions as it relates to this budget. So we'll get started. This is the recess public meeting of the Committee of the Whole regarding bills number 200, 655, 210, 283, 210, 284, 210, 285, 210, 322, 210, 323, 210, 324, 210, 442, and resolution number 210, 336. Mr. McDermott, will you please call the roll to take attendance, and members that are in attendance, please indicate by saying you're present or whatever you may choose to make sure that your image is displayed on the screen. So,
Councilmember Bass.
Good morning, Council President, colleagues, and viewing public. Good morning.
Good morning.
Councilmember Brooks.
Good morning, Council President, colleagues. In the city of Philadelphia, I'm present.
Good morning.
Councilmember Dunn.
Morning, Council President, colleagues, present.
Good morning.
Councilmember Gautier.
Good morning, Council President and everyone present.
Good morning.
Councilmember Gilmore Richardson.
Good morning. Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning, Philadelphia.
Councilmember Green.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Council staff. Good morning to the city of Philadelphia.
Good morning.
Councilmember Gim.
Good morning, I am present.
Good morning.
Councilmember Keenan.
Good morning, Council President, and good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Councilmember Johnson.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Councilmember Jones. Councilmember O'Neill. Councilmember O.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues.
Morning, sir.
Councilmember Parker.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Councilmember Quinones Sanchez.
Good morning, Council President, colleagues.
Councilmember Squilla.
Good morning, Council President Bob. Good morning, colleagues.
And Councilmember Thomas.
Good morning. Thank you all. We've established a quorum. As we will not consider the action to be taken on the bill and resolution before the committee today, the chair recognizes Councilmember Parker for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the public meeting on bill numbers 200-655, 210-283, 210-284, 210-285, 210-322, 210-323, 210-324, 210-442, and resolution number 210-336 stand in recess until Tuesday, June 15th, 2021 at 2:30 p.m.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded that the public meeting of this committee on the bills and resolution just read by Councilmember Parker will be recessed until Tuesday, June 15th, 2021 at 2:30 p.m. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, ayes have it. Motion carries. This committee will stand in recess until Tuesday, June 15, 2021 at 2:30 p.m., at which time we will reconvene on Microsoft's Teams. This concludes the business of the committee for today. Thank you all very much for your attendance and your patience. Thank you. And please go right into the public safety meeting for those members of that particular committee. Thank you. Good afternoon. Again, As we continue this discussion about the FY22 budget, we have to move timelines from time to time. So just like to apologize to the individuals watching that this is a ever moving target, so to speak, in terms of us coming to a conclusion, but we guarantee you we will adopt a FY22 budget as prescribed by the charter. This is the recessed public meeting of the Committee of the Whole regarding bills number 200-655, 210-283, 210-284, 210-285, 210-322, 210-323, 210-324, 210-442, and resolution number 210-336. Mr. McDermott, will you please call the roll to take attendance? And members that are in attendance, please indicate by saying that you're present to ensure that your image is displayed on the screen.
Councilmember Bass.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, colleagues, and listening public.
No.
Councilmember Brooks. Councilmember Dom.
And Council President and colleagues, present.
Councilmember Gautier.
Good afternoon, Council President and colleagues, and to the public present.
Councilmember Gilmore Richardson.
Good afternoon, Council President and colleagues in the city of Philadelphia. I'm here.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Green.
Good afternoon, Council President. Good afternoon, colleagues, council staff, and to the viewing and listening public. I'm present.
Councilmember Gim.
Good afternoon, Council President. Good afternoon, colleagues. I am present.
Good afternoon.
Councilmember Heenan.
Good afternoon, Council President, colleagues. I am present.
Good afternoon.
Councilmember Johnson.
Good afternoon, Council President. Good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon.
Councilmember Jones. Councilmember O'Neill.
Present.
Good afternoon.
Councilmember O.
Good afternoon, Council President. Good afternoon, colleagues. I'm present.
Good afternoon.
Councilmember Parker.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon.
Councilmember Quinones Sanchez.
Good afternoon, Council President and colleagues.
Good afternoon.
Councilmember Squilla. And Councilmember Thomas.
Good afternoon, Council President. Good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon. Thank you. We've established a quorum. We will now consider action to be taken on the bills and resolution before the committee today. First, I'd like to recognize Councilwoman Parker. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Parker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, colleagues, I want to make some comments about bill number 210442, which was the parking tax legislation that I introduced. Mr. President, it took the gun violence epidemic plaguing our city and nation, the global COVID-19 pandemic that's claimed over 600,000 lives in the U.S. and over 3,705 in our city, the world witnessing in various forms the heinous murders of black people that could have been avoided, Mr. President, if our lives and humanity truly mattered. And there's the opioid crisis that's now touching people from all walks of life, that is also experiencing the kind of empathy that, quite frankly, didn't exist when crack cocaine destroyed many black communities in the 1980s. And really, people weren't during that time talking about creating, let alone, government funding being invested in safe havens or safe crack houses for those who were addicted. Nonetheless, it took all of these things to, in essence, form what I've referred to as a perfect storm that it appears some needed for many folks to even acknowledge that systemic racism is real and it needs to be eliminated everywhere it exists. that the overall poverty, social, economic, educational, and public health disparities that many of us have been fighting to eliminate all of our lives deserves our laser-like focus, time, attention, and investment in both the public and the private sector. It is with this in mind, Mr. President, that I have always believed that good jobs, the kind that put people on a path to self-sufficiency so that they can enjoy the dignity that comes with being able to take care of themselves and their families in their own rights. I believe that those good jobs, Mr. President, are an essential part of the solution to addressing many of the ills that you heard me mention earlier. Now, for the thousands of black men and women, African national men and women, and others from our global communities who are or will be parking workers and live in our great city of Philadelphia, I want you to know, and I want you to hear me clearly, that I will never be apologetic about attempting to use every tool possible to help ensure that your job is what my grandmother would call a good job, the kind that puts you on a path to self-sufficiency. They also know, these workers, that I am no Johnny-come-lately as it relates to the challenges faced by those in this industry. It mattered to me then as after the meeting I held with them, residents of my district who work in this industry, and it matters to me now. That's why I introduced legislation a few years ago that was passed by this council, mandating just cause for firing and instituting minimum staffing requirements for parking lots and garages. And if the parking operators do not comply, then there are consequences. But this time, Mr. President, we tried to bring the industry and workers, many of whom the workers represented by SEIU 32BJ, to hammer out a compromise that will help to bring these workers out of poverty. We were attempting to secure industry-wide standards that, if they were adopted by all firms, they would have provided these men and women with an increase in wages, okay, from a range of $10 to $13 an hour to $17 to $19 an hour. Fully paid employer, union health care. Health care, equally as great as the health care we receive as city employees. A 401k retirement plan. 8 paid sick leave days per year. 5 paid vacation days in the first year of service that would have then gone up to 10 in the second year. This was our goal, and a model that could have been duplicated across many industries, Mr. President, for low-wage essential workers. This time, we did try to bring all of those parties together. Listen, to affirm that any tax cuts be inextricably connected, via a written agreement to the quality of life of workers, and not just a philosophical ideal. I've heard a lot of that lately, Mr. President, philosophical ideals. Why did we want the written agreement to be connected to the proposed tax cut? Because we all know that the citizens of Philadelphia, they cannot eat ideals alone. They cannot heat their homes with ideals alone. They cannot keep their lights on with ideals alone. And ideals alone, Mr. President, will not ensure their safety, nor will ideas alone lift the citizens of Philadelphia out of poverty. They need good jobs, good jobs, good jobs, because that is the only economic justice that will not only just lift them out of poverty, but it will ensure and encourage their full participation in the social, economic, and political processes that govern the distribution of scarce resources that we need to keep our city thriving. Ultimately, yes, it's unconscionable that the out-of-state parking operators literally squandered this opportunity, and instead they made a decision to continue to pay poverty wages rather than come to the table to negotiate and lift their employees, our Philadelphia citizens, out of poverty. Mr. President, this fight is not over. I will continue to stand with low-wage essential workers and do everything I can to bring them out of poverty. This will not deter me one instant from continuing to work towards a day when every worker in the city of Philadelphia is paid a living wage with real benefits and can provide for their own families in their own right. The fight for fair wages and equity continues, and I welcome everyone who believes, as I do, to join our efforts in moving forward. I thank you, Mr. President. Although we can't mandate $15 to $17 per hour. We can't mandate retirement security. We can't mandate the kind of health insurance that if you, your wife, or your family gets sick and they need to go to the hospital to have a surgery, that you won't be in debt for the rest of your life because they needed to seek medical treatment. There will be a day, and we will continue to fight for fair wages and equity. I thank you and our colleagues for your time and patience, Mr. President. We will be holding this bill, and there will be no further activity relative to this bill during our budgetary process. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and thank you for your continued fight for those of us that need the support of all of us. Thank you very much. Next, we will move to bill number 200655. Chair recognizes Councilmember Parker for a motion on bill number 200655.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that bill number 200655 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Chair notes for the record. That was Councilwoman. Councilman. Mm-hmm. It's been moved and properly seconded bill number 200655 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended so as to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
It is Councilwoman
Kim.
Councilwoman
Kim. Yeah.
And Councilman Thomas.
Yes, Council President. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Let the record reflect that Councilwoman Kim and Councilman Thomas were the nay. Motion carries. Next up will be bill number 210324, an amendment that was circulated that I referenced earlier. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Park for a motion on the amendment to bill number 210324.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer an amendment to bill number 210324. A copy of the amendment has been circulated to all members of the committee. I move that the amendment to bill number 210324 be approved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and probably second that the amendment to bill number 210324 be approved. This will stay in committee if approved. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Who was that?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Amendment to bill number 210324 has been approved. this bill will stay in committee before further action. Next, we will move to Councilman O's amendment, bill number 210-322. I understand that Councilman O has an amendment to the operating budget to offer. Councilman O, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Council President.
Has the amendment been circulated to the members?
Yes, it has.
Chair recognizes Councilman O for a motion on his amendment to bill number 210-322.
Thank you, Council President. I offer an amendment to bill number 210-322. A copy of the amendment has been circulated to all members of the committee. I'd like to be recognized for comment before I move that the amendment be approved.
Please do, Councilman.
Thank you very much, Council President. There are many important issues facing this city. The creative arts economy is not an issue. It's a proven solution to many, if not all, of these problems. And that's been well documented. It's done so with almost no support from government, with the notable exception of Mayor Ed Rendell, who encouraged and recognized Philadelphia's future in arts, culture, creativity, innovation, and tourism. I've heard far too many intelligent but uninformed or misinformed people say this city has more important issues than arts and culture. While this city has many pressing issues, it doesn't have many solutions. One of the largest, most impactful, sustainable, and equitable solutions can be found in the arts and culture economy. It's a huge economy. It's a huge economic engine that will either grow dramatically or fail dramatically based on what government decides to do. I tell people it's not a hobby. It's not a plaything of rich elitists. It's not not a non-self-sustaining sector that's fully dependent on nonprofit dollars. It's an ecosystem that includes a huge for-profit sector. Regionally, its 55,000 full-time jobs benefit our city. In Philadelphia alone, $3.4 billion a year of economic impact benefit our population, our communities, with salaries, opportunities, self-worth, mentorship, education, entrepreneurship, financial independence, and even wealth. In Philadelphia alone, arts and culture provides 37,600 full-time jobs. Last year, our city lost 62,800 jobs. If we were to imagine that the average salary and benefits were at least $40,000 per job, that would be $2.5 billion in lost annual wages. The total job loss in this city since 1970, when we had 920,400 jobs, is 250,000 jobs. We've lost 250,000 jobs since 1970. We have steadily lost jobs until recently. Then we started to regain jobs, and jobs were growing until COVID-19. In 2019, Philadelphia had 740,600 jobs, but as I said, we lost 63,000 jobs last year. Now there's 677,800 jobs. Is that number increasing, decreasing, or staying level? Clearly, investing in an existing economic engine is a very wise thing to do. Doing tax cuts without associated jobs is wishful. Putting stimulus dollars into structural debt is at best temporary and will not solve this problem. On Saturday, I was helping a local coffee company with their public launch. The contribution of arts and culture to this simple promotion can be listed as follows. 3 young adults were hired as models and they got paid. One is a full-time aspiring model, one is a part-time model who is a full-time teacher, and one is a full-time college student. A photographer got paid. The setting was at the Azalea Garden at the Art Museum. The gardeners and all the workers at this iconic location are being paid. We used 3 mugs as props. Each were designed, manufactured, and paid for. There was a bag of chocolate-covered pretzels that the company makes, and we used that. That bag was designed, manufactured. Everyone got paid. The pretzels were baked in a local plant which was saved from being closed, and so everyone there kept their jobs and got paid. The company is now hiring 25 new workers at its warehouse for $15 an hour based on the product sales thanks to advertising. The coffee is imported, which means it's shipped, delivered, and sold. Everyone is getting paid and sales taxes are being paid. While the models were modeling the product, music was being played. Musicians, producers, audio engineers, studio, songwriters, everybody got paid. City wage tax will be paid, property tax will fund our city and schools, rent will be paid, an Uber driver got paid, and the advertising company will be paid. The city will be promoted. The logo is a Liberty Bell, a historic, cultural, and international symbol of freedom located here in our city. $930 million in annual household income is paid. It's unlikely these people are going to be a source of homelessness, crime, and gun violence. $157 million annually in local taxes help funds our schools, social service, anti-violence programs like the ones advocated by members of this city council. All of this is a result of organic economic engine that has been running without government funds. But now, because of the devastating damage done by COVID-19, this homegrown job and opportunity creator needs government assistance to keep laying the golden eggs that it has been laying all this time. I'd like to talk about the impact on underserved communities, which is widely acknowledged. Hip-hop, urban fashion, dance, popping, locking, jazz, gospel music, funk, DJing, EDM. For those much older than me, they'll remember when we had the Sound of Philly, Sigma Sound Studio, Philadelphia International Records, and how that impacted our African-American community, bringing wealth and prestige into our communities, creating collaborations. How about live jazz and comedy on 52nd Street? Yeah, that was a thing when 52nd Street was live entertainment. What about film, television, theater, drumline, graphic design, set design, carpentry, stage handlers, audio engineers, producers, photographers, advertisers, video recording, television crews, pre- and post-production, computer work, film truck drivers, last time I checked, got $150,000 a year for driving, Teamsters, for driving a film production truck. Screenwriters, novelists, poets, spoken word artists, and so much more. The equity and opportunity in the arts has defied racial barriers, prejudice, and discriminatory laws throughout our history. And a lot of it born in Philadelphia. According to the Cultural Alliance, Philadelphia's art and culture economy lost $310 million in revenues between 2020 and 2021. In order to restart the creative arts economy and prevent it from collapsing, Council's Committee on Global Opportunities and the Creative Innovative Economy has been working on this issue since the start of COVID-19. That's because performing venues were the first to close, first to lay off workers, first to refund ticket sales. They still paid rent and all their other bills, and they'll be the last to open. This impacted the rest of the sector's ecosystem. How much more to save and restart and grow the arts and culture sector? A creative arts economy needs more than a $45 million fund. It's not enough, but it's the least that we could do. This is what our committee came up based on meetings with industry leaders, based on a public hearing that we held. There's 36,000 full-time jobs in Philadelphia alone and a bright future in a very competitive global market where cities and countries around the world have a strategy to take music, art, film, and build an economic engine of their own on that. This economy is undergoing serious changes and shifts. We should not disregard what others are so determined to build. Our artists and related workers will leave our city, take their dollars, their families, their opportunities to more supportive locations here in the U.S. and abroad. The American Rescue Plan federal stimulus dollars was given to our city. Council decides what to do with that $1.4 billion. That's the role of council. Now, the mayor has offered his proposal, but he doesn't make that decision. He's got an idea. Now, I disagree with his idea, and I think many council members do as well. We believe that this stimulus dollar should be used to revitalize our economy, create those jobs. I've offered this amendment, which includes fully restoring the city's arts budget, creating a new fund for the creative arts economy, along with a very reasonable amount of funding for livable communities. That is specifically $45 million into City Council for the creation of a creative economy recovery fund, $2.2 million into the Managing Director's Office to restore the Office of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, the Philadelphia Cultural Fund, and the Greater Philadelphia Film Office, $14 million to increase the funds to planning and development for the Housing Trust Fund to restore pre-pandemic funding levels, $6 million to the Land Bank for planning and development to restore funding to the Land Bank for operations and acquisitions, $3.75 million for Parks and Rec for pre-pandemic funding, $1.67 million to match FY20 funding for commercial corridor cleaning, storefront improvement, business security camera programs, and finally $1 million for infrastructure in the Managing Director's Office to create a sidewalk repair strategy as recommended by the 2018 Sidewalk Policy Transportation Community Development Initiative and to restore Vision Zero program funding for fiscal year 20. That's collectively Livable Communities' request. This is, in summary, the amendment that I've provided. It is in writing, and I will move that the amendment be adopted.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 210 be approved. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Nay.
Nay.
I'll request a roll call vote, Council President, for clarity. Thank you.
Certainly. Mr. McDermott, a roll call.
Councilmember Bass?
Aye.
Councilmember Brooks? Councilmember Dobb?
Nay.
Councilmember Gautier?
Nay.
Councilmember Gilmore Richardson?
Nay.
Councilmember Green?
Nay.
Councilmember Gim?
Nay.
Councilmember Heenan?
Nay.
Councilmember Johnson?
Nay.
Councilmember Jones? Councilmember O'Neill?
Aye.
Councilmember O?
Aye.
Councilmember Parker?
Nay.
Councilmember Quinones Sanchez?
Nay.
Councilmember Squilla? Councilmember Thomas?
Nay.
And Council President Clark?
Nay. Nays have it. Motion and amendment fails. I just want to say for the record, I know I'm not supposed to talk when I'm on the podium as the council president, but today I'm here as the chair. So I just want to say for the record, for those that may be watching, Councilman, we concur with you a significant amount of the issues, particularly around arts and economy, and the cultural economy, new economy. I mean, we clearly understand and we concur. But there is simply an issue with respect to the budget process, challenge associated with, unfortunately, we do have a lot of issues that we have to deal with, and we want to, wherever possible, address everybody's issue. There are situations that are equally as challenging. So, you know, we're with you in spirit, but it's simply budget reality. The need is broad, much broader than the resources, unfortunately.
Thank you very much, Council President. I understand.
I just want to, we agree fighting to increase funding for the creative economy and arts and culture as we speak. So thank you. As we will not consider the action be taken on the
Council
remaining.
President, I'm sorry, Council President, this is Mark Squill. I apologize for being tardy, getting on late. Just want to be recorded as I on bills and amendments. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. There was a, okay, that's good. Thank you, Councilman. Let the record reflect. Okay, as we will not consider the action be taken on the remaining bills or the resolution before the committee today, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Parker for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the public meeting on bill numbers 210283, 210284, 210285, 210322, 210323, 210324, and resolution number 210336 stand in recess until Thursday, June 17, 2021 at 9:30 a.m.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and properly seconded. The public meeting of this committee of the bills and resolutions just read by Councilmember Parker be recessed until Thursday, June 17, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. Motion carries. This committee will stand in recess until Thursday, June 17, 2021 at 9:30 a.m., at which time we will reconvene on Microsoft's Teams. I obviously will continue to be in contact with all members as it relates to the FY2022 budget to look forward to continue the conversation. Thank you.